Hello, everyone. I am at the Western Conservative Summit, a great gathering of conservatives from all over the country, actually. But I have one of the great state senators, Rod Pelton, here, a dear friend and a warrior. You've been at the Capitol for how many years now?
Heidi, this was my fifth session at the state capitol.
God bless you, Rod. It is a rough crowd.
Yeah, this was by far the worst session we'd had since I've been there.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like to be in the minority and how you guys fight back. You did a great job, but how does that tactically look?
Well, so I was in the Senate this session, the first time in my career. I was a representative for 4 years. It looked very different in the Senate than it did in the House. In the Senate, we have a little more respect for each other, and so we were able to slow things down during the day, get deals done during the day, so we could go home at night. We could go home on weekends. The House's session, they were there all kinds of Saturdays, some Sundays, but when we were not in the building, no bills moved. So that was a great strategy, you know, especially in this session. So it looked way different from the House to the Senate, just because I liken the two between the House is like a cage fight and the Senate's like a chess match. So,
oh, I like that.
yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Rod, what was your least favorite bill that went through?
Oh, man.
There's so many. But
Yeah, there were so many, there were so many housing bills that were just very socialist-looking housing bills, bills that were all about the renter, not about the landlords, the private, the people that have their livelihoods invested in these rentals so they can retire someday down the road. It was trying to put them out of business. So there were multiple bills. One of the worst ones maybe is going to be on the ballot this fall. Just heard yesterday the court did rule for Proposition HH to move forward, and that one will eventually gut Tabor and kill it within 6-7 years.
that is insane, because I know that the people of Colorado really like Tabor. I led the fight with Prop CC, when was that, a few years ago, and everywhere I went around the state, and as the governor candidate, I heard how popular Tabor is, and they are just blatantly, brazenly going after it right now.
Yeah, that's been their goal, probably since Tabor came about, was to do away with Tabor. They're actually going to use another question on the ballot to bribe you into voting for it. Going to give everybody a Tabor refund, even if they didn't pay taxes, to vote. Because if that question doesn't pass, then HH doesn't matter.
Right.
So they're going to use that question to basically get you to kill Tabor.
Lovely. Well, I am so happy you get some time off, and
Yes, me
you get
too.
to hang out in the beautiful rural Colorado, which is so important and has been totally neglected by the Democrats over the last 2 decades. What is the top issue that you're hearing from your constituents that they want you to really push hard on next year?
Well, the main thing my constituents want is for Denver to leave us alone.
Yeah, imagine that.
There's already way too much regulation. Every time we're in session, they whittle away at the Western way of life, which is rural Colorado.
Right.
We're agriculture, we're oil and gas, very self-sufficient people, and they're just trying to make us puppets of the government out there with regulation and rule and law. That one size fits all doesn't necessarily work. So they just want to be left alone.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Boy, I heard that all over the place, and it seems like they're doing a full court press. I thought they might moderate a little bit because Polis might run for president, but it doesn't feel that way.
No, it doesn't. In fact, we saw Polis take a hard left turn now that he's not, he's term limited now. I don't know about his presidential aspirations, but he's gone hard left, and we saw some really bad bills.
Oh, but he's libertarian, Rod, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a joke.
He is vetoing some bad bills, now that session is over. But there were several bills came straight from the governor's office that passed. There were some that got killed. That 213, which was going to take the zoning process away from municipalities. We got that one killed.
Terrible.
It was. And Democrats saw that it was bad enough that they killed it. because we couldn't kill it on our own. It took Democrat votes too. So,
Are there any bills that went through that you liked or supported?
well, the bills I ran, but
You want to talk about any of those?
one that I'm very proud of, and it's actually just continuing a program that's already in effect. Out in rural Colorado, we have a real shortage of big animal veterinarians, and this bill extends the program and expands it to, if you graduate veterinary school in any state, but you commit to come and practice in a veterinary large animal vet shortage area, you'll get part of your vet loan paid back.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, up to $90,000.
That's very good news.
Yeah, so that's great for rural Colorado. Another bill, Representative Winter, well, we were on both these bills. It's a study bill on energy, which includes all the above: clean hydrogen, nuclear, storage, hydro. So it's not just wind and solar.
Good.
And I think we need to look at all the above.
Yes.
Because these wind towers are covering us up out on the eastern plains, so that the Front Range can have their clean green energy, and it's ruining our our skyline and stuff out in rural Colorado, and we've got to find other ways that are more reliable than wind and solar.
Hey, have you ever heard of natural gas? Hey.
Yeah, that's what we really, we champion oil and gas as hard as we can. But,
You guys have done a great job of that.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make it does make sense if you look at the nefarious things going on, but it really is a sad day for America when we were energy independent and doing so well, and the economy was humming along, and now it's just it's gone the wrong direction.
Yeah, and Colorado has some of the cleanest fossil fuels in the country.
Yep.
And now we're shutting this industry down to import oil from Saudi Arabia and Venezuela, and places that have dirty oil that hate us, and we're at their mercy, and it's just not right.
Yeah, it's not right. And boy, I think we need to bring some balance back to this state, and I'm so grateful that you're at the Capitol fighting the good fight, and we look forward to supporting you and helping you however we can. How can people get in touch with you if they want to talk to you?
Well, just look me up on the state's legislative website. My phone number and email address is right there. I'm also on Facebook, State Senator Rod Pelton, so look me up, and I'd appreciate it.
Thanks, Rod. Representative Ty Winter, I am so proud to have you here today. You've been a warrior in your first session. I want to hear all the nitty-gritty, what it's like up there, what's been different than you thought. Ty, give us some scoop on what it's like at the Capitol.
First of all, Heidi, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate you allowing me to get on here and kind of give the message and talk to the people of Colorado and let them know that there's still hope. Us as conservatives and as Republicans, we've got to stay in the fight. We've got to buckle down. We never give up this ship in the state of Colorado, and we've just got to keep fighting. The session was fast and furious, if you could imagine. It was an honor to be part of the Mighty 19. We got up and we fought every day. It didn't matter what the issue was. It didn't matter the fight that was ahead of us. We just got up and every day and fought. And what was kind of interesting is the Democrats were even substituting out. There were so many of them. A few would take a break here, a few would take a break there, and the Mighty 19 just stood in there.
You didn't have any subs.
No, we didn't have any subs. Every time they would swing, we would swing back harder, and it was an honor to be part of that group and to fight for the conservative values and our Constitution, not only the state Constitution, but the federal Constitution at the state Capitol this year.
Well, thanks, Ty. You guys did a great job. You killed some really big, bad bills. What was the most incredible effort I think you guys were able to accomplish?
I think that the fight that we had for the Second Amendment and preserving our Second Amendment rights, that was huge. There was a day that we went on an 18-hour binger. We just battled and battled. We got up and we fought for the Second Amendment. We all know in the United States of America, if you don't have the Second Amendment, you lose the rest of your rights. That was really big. Fighting for private property rights, fighting for parents.
Yeah.
The parents that, parents have rights and that we have the ability to raise and rear our children the way we want, what they learn and the influences that they have in their life. Like I said before, fighting for private property rights, but probably the biggest honor I had is fighting for rural Colorado and agriculture. I come from a rural district. I'm born and raised, still live on a fourth-generation farm and ranch, and to stand up for the salt of the earth people in the state of Colorado that not only feed Coloradans but feed Americans, small businesses, standing for small businesses, and then telling the story of rural Colorado. When I ran ran for office, that's what I told everybody I was going to do, is that I was going to show up every day and I was going to tell the story of southeastern Colorado, and it was my honor to do so.
Yeah, tell us what it's like now in your town, your hometown. What are your constituents worried about? Like, what do they want you to focus on next session?
They want to make sure that local control is local control. You know, big bad government, the governor thinks that he can use the big arm of government to control everything we do in our small towns and communities, and that's not right. He has government totally backwards. I think he needs a class on federalism. I think that it would probably help him a little bit. But I think fighting for local control, fighting for private property rights, and then fighting for our constitutional rights and personal freedoms. They're chopping away at them. And what's really crazy is I've been involved in politics a while, but actually getting in the state capitol and seeing how things work and how they pass bills that seem minor at the time, but when you step back and look at the 30,000-foot view, they're all set to erode the values and the freedoms that we have. And it's really unfortunate. So, you know, fighting for those things. I'm still fighting for agriculture. I'm fighting for our kids to have a good education. You know, I'm a huge believer in school choice and charter schools. So, you know, we just have to keep pushing for the good that made this country great, and then also fighting for energy. You know, I have no problem with an all-above energy approach. I think that there's a great thing to have a good mixture of all energies, but we need good, firm, reliable energy. So I was really excited. We ran and passed House Bill 1247, which is an energy study for southeast and northwest Colorado. And what I'm really excited about is it talks a little bit about small modular nuclear reactors.
Good.
And if we're really going to talk about good, firm energy that doesn't have a big footprint, then they're going to have to get serious and talk about nuclear energy. So, and also fighting for our oil and gas producers. Yeah. That was another, you know, thing that I took pride in. I come from an oil and gas district, and those roughnecks need jobs too, and we need to just unleash them, let them do their job so we can keep power in America.
Well, God bless you, Ty. You're doing great work.
Well, thank
we're
you.
so excited to have you there. How can people get in touch with you if they'd like to give some feedback?
Yeah, you can go to my Facebook page, Representative Ty Winter. You could hit my state email. All that's on the website, and I'd love to hear from the constituents. You know, good, bad, or ugly. That, you know, that's how we make decisions. That's you know, if you're a true representative of the people, and which I ran to, I didn't come from a family in politics, so didn't come from a family in money. I got elected to represent the people, and the way to do that is you listen to everybody's opinion. I may not make everybody happy with the way I vote because I'm going to vote with the majority of my district, but I will find ways to make things work. That way I can represent everybody in my district.
Well, and you're raising two pretty amazing daughters who I got to know pretty well, one of which I think might be the President of the United States someday.
That's
Ms.
what we're
Brooklyn.
working on.
Yeah, I think you've got one there. So
thank you.
Great job, and thank you, Ty, for all your service, and let's keep in touch and keep everybody updated.
I appreciate you, and I want to thank you for what you're doing, because this is important. People don't realize that as conservatives, if we don't have a vehicle and a way to get our voices out and our agenda out, then we're just treading water. So thank you for what you do on trying to get the word out for us.
Thanks, Ty.
All right, thank you.